Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I will explain you why am I playing Tactician in 0.3. I might convince you into playing it as well, or maybe you want just to hear out what are my pros and cons of this ascendancy, why I think it's kinda cool and I think it's quite strong in this patch, and overall, yeah, why you should be considering to play it with Crossbow, maybe with other weapons as well. So maybe starting with the changes, I took the screenshot from Kingdom 12 channel guy. It's quite messy, but it's everything on one screen, so you have all the changes here. Some are, let's say, hidden behind his head, but there were no changes to this node particularly. So I think the biggest change is that now the suppressing fire gives us 40% of more immobilization build-up instead of projectile damage building pin, and this projectile damage building pin thing was moved to right where we want them, so it's like your second tier ascendancy. It's, you know, unlocked in Act 3. So I think this is a little bit nerf because well, this was kind of strong to be as your first point. Act 2 boss was very easy with this node, so that was really a breeze. Now it will be available in Act 3, so the Riani will be much easier to beat, but yeah, it is what it is. However, okay, we lose something, we get something, right? So the immobilization, what it build up, what is that exactly? So basically it's all the stuns you generate, all the freeze you generate, and other CC, right? So in our build, we'll be using a little bit of freeze early on and a little bit of stun with flash grenade. At least that's my plan for leveling up. Not sure what's your idea, but I think that a lot of people will try to use permafrost bolts early on or some other freezing skills because they are very powerful. Especially that you have like fragmentation shards where you can literally consume this freeze to get more damage, especially single target damage. So overall, I think this is really good node to start with, especially that we don't have enough spirit gems to get, you know, use of. Maybe I can show it here better. I don't have ascendancy on this class, so let me select it in here. Yeah, sorry, it's in here. So it's a solid plan, right? So where persistent buffs have 50% less generation. So suppressing fire is still a way to go with your first ascendancy. Then you go right where we want them, but now this grants the projectile damage pin, and the pin enemies cannot perform actions, and this remains. This is, I think, the reason why we even play with the pin, let's say, nodes, because it's so awesome. You know, the boss doesn't move, he doesn't, you know, if he started casting some mechanic or triggering a skill, well, it doesn't happen anymore. You can just beat him like a punchback. So this is really, really nice. And I think that will be it about the changes I'm really hyped on. Of course, again, there are changes to totems. There is really nice aura, but I can't see sacrificing the persistent buff cost reduction or the pinned enemies cannot perform actions over it. So it's just an option in case my, I don't know, my build idea fails, or, you know, I succeed and I will want to try something else and I will try to build a totem build, or there will be some other people that, you know, make insane builds with totem and I will find it very fun to play with. I might diverge into it and well, and try it myself. So let's see how it will all plays out. I think other changes, like with the deflection rate, are maybe optional, but I don't think you can really count for having, you know, great power out of it. I think deflection rate won't be that hard to build, and I don't think we can have that much armor from the mixed node, because we are like hybrid armor evasion, so it's not pure armor. So maybe some builds, maybe some melee builds with Tactician, like totem builds, will go for the left side of the tree, getting, you know, use of armor, getting use of ancestral totems and stuff. Maybe that's a good alternative. So Straight into the pros and cons of Tactician that I wrote. So yeah, but the banners are buffed. I won't be going through the list of buffs, but they are very strong now. I think Tactician is the best class to get advantage of, and we have already plenty of banner nodes. I think more to come with the new tree. And I think the strongest node is the Bannerman, which means that the banner buffs linger on you after 4 seconds after you leave the area, which means you can't get sort of permanent banner buff with generation of the glory. So whoever pays best makes you gain 5 glory per second. Maybe this can get increased with new nodes, I don't know. Maybe there are some items added that will generate passively glory. I don't know, but my hope is that we can do mapping with increased movement speed. That would be great for our clear speed, but we'll see. I think this is a really great option to have. So yeah, so banners got buffed. Then we have spirit gems with less cost, and I think I've seen that the cast on whatever gems have now increased spirit cost. So I think Tactician will be the class that can you know, fit in the most auras and most tech that you could try. Again, big upside. Then the projectile pins, and enemies cannot take action when pinned. This is great for bossing. This is great for all those abyss bosses that you're gonna fight. All those abyss rare monsters that you're gonna fight with those abyss modifiers, which are potentially very, very difficult, but because you can literally CC them up to their death, I think this is really great to have fun with some aspirational content. Because if you know most enemies can't take actions, they won't kill you. Right? This is very simple, and because our projectile damage can pin, basically you can stun and freeze the whole screen with grenades and stuff. That's my idea for the build. And then we have buffs to crossbow movement speed, buff to crossbow reloads movement speed, and overall, you know, crossbows should be, let's say, more smooth to play. And that was my main issue with grenades in 0.1. It was just, you know, you had to cast them, you had cooldown time, you had detonation time, it slowed you down. Overall, the class didn't feel really, I mean, I didn't have a lot of fun playing it. I thought it would be much better, much smoother, but it wasn't. And compared to like other zoomy classes, it felt like you were missing out, right? I hope this is now removed. I'm not expecting this to be like a very zoomy class, because, you know, you most likely, you're way slower, and I don't think we can kill off screen with grenades. But I think with Abyssal League, the build power could diverge into, let's say, having a good zone clear, because the monsters will, you know, crawl out of the dungeon, so they will be all spawning in the same place. You don't need to be clearing your map very fast. It's more like how fast can you clear the abyss, and then how good do you deal with single target monsters, like, you know, very tough rare monsters and bosses. So I think this is where our build can outperform those builds who have very good zoom potential. Now, up to the tree, I think this is also really, really interesting stuff, that we have this slider. I kind of hate how it works, but if you look at the tree, and I think we've seen something in the summary, that the bottom of the tree gets the most. As you can see, it's so much better compared to other parts of the tree, especially to the right side. The right side doesn't seem to be that much changed. There are a few additions for sure, but the bottom of the tree is like, you know, it gets lots of new nodes, and, you know, this area is basically where a lot of new things coming out. So I'm not sure if that will be, let's say, ultimately for everyone. I expect a lot of nodes to be for the bleed, because bleed was kinda underwhelming. And again, this is another build opportunity to make a nice, maybe spear crossbow bleed build, or crossbow, I don't know, mace bleed build, I don't know. There are many different ideas, but I think bleed is possibly a playable archetype now. So yeah, those new notables are definitely great to start as mercenary, and I think Tactician is the best mercenary. Then grenades benefit from the support skills being able to use the same the skills being able to use the same support. So as you can see, we can use scatter shot for all our grenades. Scatter shot is really great because we only lose 35% less damage, but we get 2 additional projectiles. So you basically get 200% increased damage for losing 35%. The math is there. Well, you have less attack speed. That's a bummer, but it's really good. I'm not sure what about Adhere for flash grenade, maybe concentrated effect, but I will speak about it in a second. Adhere is I think really strong. I've seen Ben played it in HC, where he started his crossbow build. He played explosive grenade with Adhere. This is where I thought, okay, this looks really bad, but I play tested it and it's really strong. So maybe I will be using this for flash grenade as well in 0.3. But let's do not diverge into the leveling topics yet. So I think this is no longer valid. I think this is going to be a meta ascendancy. We'll have meta builds there for sure. There are high profile people like Palstron considering playing Tactician, maybe Zizarian as well. So I'm really let's say sure that we'll see some meta builds around Tactician nodes. I started creating this list like a week ago. It wasn't very discussed back then, so to me it was an advantage that it's off meta, because it means maybe some items will be cheaper, or you will have a chance to stand out of everyone else playing Deadeye. Then I think it's very fun, because like we already said, there are many things to try out, and there are many different things you can try. I think this is why we play games, because they should be fun. So stomping the game to one-shot the whole screen is not the most fun I could have with POE. I rather prefer challenging environment. I'm not saying I'm literally the roughless mode big fan, but I think the game should be challenging enough that you don't stomp it 5 days after the league starts and everyone else plays the same build, because that, like it happened last league. It makes me want to quit, because everything feels like let's say underpowered. So I hope there are no, let's say, skills like this, like the spear last league in this patch, but I'm pretty sure there will be. So yeah, maybe it will be something from Crossbow this time. So this is what we spoke about. The grenades with unlimited, that they can be finally an archetype of itself. Maybe just using the explosive shot. This is under leveled character, so I can't show you there. But the explosive shot is kind of good to, let's say, detonate your grenades, especially that we have some increased detonate time, which we, let's say, don't care that much about. But yeah. But I think you can play grenades exclusively and match the power of the bow builds or spear builds. I hope this is the case. If not, maybe we can try something else, like totems or maybe some bleed build. Then many crossbow skills got buffed, like cluster grenade, like I don't know, permafrost balls. There are many, so we'll see. Like rapid fire has really interesting changes. I really want to test them all. So again, that's really good. Yeah, so again, because of the weapon swap buff, we can try out some spear plus grenade builds, spear plus totems, whatever comes to your mind. I think it's really nice. The bottom of the tree has access to the let's say some spear nodes. I'm not sure how much we would need this for weapon swap spear, because it's quite far away, so we'd have to use a lot of those alternative points. but maybe there are some interesting build nodes, bleed nodes, which would make our weapon swap strong and focusing on physical bleed damage instead of critical nodes, or I don't know what else is there. I think it's mostly for for attack speed, critical. What do we have? Critical damage. So I'm not sure if we'll be really needing critical damage for bleed build if we wanted to use spears. Again, mercenary gives you opportunity to go for left side of the tree, and interesting, most of area of effect nodes are in the range of mercenary. I think you need to really go strong into this part of the tree, but there are some really great nodes like here for AOE, and you have increased presence area. Of course, the low life helmet has been removed, but we have some opportunities here, like for mana costs as well, for fire damage on the outer tree. So plenty of opportunities to theory craft with mercenary in this league, I believe. Also, important thing why crossbows are strong and why grenades will feel better, because spamming grenades with increased projectile level skill, let's say projectile level items, we're using a lot of mana. I think this was a threshold for the damage output. You were having mana issues, you had to have mana leech on your crossbow, otherwise it was really difficult. Now it's been lowered. Although I haven't played in 0.2 with crossbow, I was playing Deadeye bow, so I don't know, maybe there were ways to optimize this already in 0.2. I played in 0.1, it was really bad back then. So I think then focusing on lower cooldown reduction and spamming grenades could be the way. For now, I think, at least for campaign, going for grenade damage and not focusing on cooldown instead of getting the most out of single cast is good, because you also struggle with mana early on. So we'll see in the end game, but I think this is, again, good for leveling, good for end game, and makes crossbow much better together with the movement speed penalties and everything that was changed. What are the cons of this build? Yeah, so it's not Deadeye. You don't get, you're not Deadeye, right? So what Deadeye provides, it's a tailwind, which is a super defensive skill. Okay, it's a little bit offensive as well, but you get some skill speed, right? But tailwind is just such a great node. And then for grenades, where is this additional project? Endless munition, right? So well, for grenades it's great. For bolts it's, I think, even better, because with grenades we can at least get one from the crossbow, the second from cluster bombs, so we have some ways of increasing projectile. But for bolts, this is endless munition is really great, and the tree has a lot of projectile damage and stuff. So the tree here is amazing for projectiles, and you have a lot of opportunities. You can go for you can also get a little bit of energy shield, although it's been nerfed. So in previous patches, this is where Deadeye strength came in, that you could combine evasion with energy shield, which made some build really tanky. When you played in the bottom, going for energy shield wasn't an option, and armor evasion hybrid was kinda lame. So most likely you had to go for acrobatics, which allowed you to evade all attacks, or all skills, all spells. Now it's been removed because we have deflection rates, so evasion with deflection should be good enough. Armor should be buffed a little bit, although I don't expect this to be a game changer, as everyone says. So I think Deadeye is really strong. So it's not a Deadeye build. I think Deadeyes will be the strongest and most broken builds this league. I think it's also the easiest class out of the box, because, like I said, it just offers you tailwind. You don't need to build anything around it, you just have it. Nice. And with endless munition, well, again, you get additional projectile. You don't need to think twice about it. it's your, let's say, ascendancy choices are done. Yeah, if you are like a beginner, taking those two is really great. If you want to, let's say, you know, make more out of it, try to min-max your build, invest a lot into crit and stuff. You know, those consuming frenzy charges is probably going to scale better than those two, but I think it will all turn out after we have a 3 release, and we'll see. But yeah, that's everyone's prediction. So Deadeye is the best. So in case you look for the best build, I think you should be looking for it. And you can still play crossbows and stuff with Deadeye, no problem at all. I think the second I had another con, which is it's not a spear build, but I think spears got a little bit, let's say, tampered down with all the Amazon changes and stuff. So I don't expect spears to be as powerful as they were last league. But say let be spear bow build. So yeah, I don't think going for pure bow is better on Tactician. If you wanna focus on bow or a mix of spear bow, I think Deadeye again better choice. And then I don't have strictly defined concept at the league start. Like I say, I'm trying to have fun with theory crafting, so I really recommend you to do the same. There are a lot of new tree changes, there are a lot of ascendancy changes, there will be new items, there will be new support gems, there will be a lot of new additions to the way how we build characters, like, you know, the support game limits. So I really recommend you doing the same. Again, if the game is zombie as fuck, if you know you can blink and literally teleport through the game with a light speed, I think crossbows still will have some, let's say, movement penalty. I don't see this will be meta in case, but in case it's not, in case the Abyss is meta and you don't need to move through the map fast enough, or we have banner movement speed, permanent banner movement speed buff, and we have sprint, and it doesn't really affect us that much, maybe crossbows are meta. So we'll find out, but this could be potentially downside. It was downside to crossbows in the past, at least to my experience. And grenades might not be as buffed as the bolt builds. That's my worry, that well, we don't see, we want, I think that they treat it as addition to a build rather than a build archetype. I would really like to spam all grenades types and not to use any crossbow skill at all, any other crossbow skill at all, maybe a totem, maybe some supporting skills outside of the mercenary class or the crossbow class. But yeah, but we'll see about that. And there are no real defenses in the ascendancies, ascendancy, except well, except the banner buff. So if it's permanent banner, yeah, we can get some defenses from there, and maybe we can have more auras which will act defensively and polish that gear. I'm not so sure if this is really our defensive layer. Like 20% of armor, I don't plan going very heavy on armor. I think I will still let's say lean more towards evasion and deflection, so we'll see how much we get in here, but we are close to the right side of the tree as well, so if there are some nice deflection nodes to grab, I think it's gonna be nice, especially that we'll have those quality, I'm not sure where it was, but I think it was somewhere in this area we have quality, like plus 10% to all our gems quality, which is really strong. So if we're going there, we can already grab some deflection and defensive nodes from let's say right side of the tree. So I think this was my take on Tactician. I spent a lot of time figuring out what I will play. This basically sums it up, and now I would like to talk about my experience with leveling. So I made a lot of characters. I went through the first act like, I don't know, 10 times in the last week. I had well, I had some challenge because I haven't played POE 2 in a long time, so I had to remind myself how do you path in the first act and so on. And I tried a couple, let's say, ways of going for let's say, for the tree, right? And I think this is the most optimal way how you can scale damage off. And remember what I said in the beginning, that I think getting more power of a single grenade is way better than casting multiple grenades. And this is because we have already scatter shot, and we'll be able to use scatter shot on all our grenades. So with the explosive grenade, you could spam it and, you know, get additional projectile. That's fine, but then you have downside of the detonation time early on, which, let's say, slows you down a little bit, because you need to... The way how I played was to simply... Maybe I can demonstrate, you know, early on. Of course, you should start with mule. That's for sure. Basically go for mercenary. Try to look in the shop for crossbow. And I actually do one more step. Actually, this layout maybe is not best, but well, actually it's still same. So if you go for the right side, you should be able to find abandoned stash. I actually already cleared it out, but you get you know, level 1 skill from it. And this is needed because we want to have contagion, you know, starting off level 1. It's nice if you have level 1 gem for it, because it takes less intelligence to unlock it. If you go for level 2, it will require you to have some intelligence on the gear. You see, I have like +5. You know, that's kind of good to start on, but I think you shouldn't well, you shouldn't count for it that you will have some intelligence, because in the tree you'd have to go for this node. It's kind of waste. You want to get those projectile damage nodes. I'll explain why in a second. So well, so you should go for it. And then you want to have your disengage. So if you don't want to have contagion or disengage together, then that's fine. You don't need to make a mule. But if you really want to have those skills right away, and I really suggest you to do it, then you need to make a mule, find the scamp, get the gem, go back to your city, drop everything to your stash, create a new character. You will lose a couple minutes because of that, but the extra gold you get, the opportunity to buy, I don't know, a crossbow, a spear early on from a shop, it is really good. It's gonna make your, let's say, experience smooth. Otherwise, yeah, it could be smooth because you can drop gem very early on, but like I said, if you drop a level 3 gem later, okay, so let's imagine we don't start with contagion and you drop it, you know, level 2 or level 3 gem in next maps, you will need more intelligence to unlock it, so it's not optimal. So getting level 1 gems is really good. It's, you know, casting disengage costs less mana at low level, and we only need this to move through monster packs, because you will have sprint in 0.3, so this is not really necessary. But there are mobs where, you know, you don't have, you know, you can't move through mobs, right? So you get stuck. But with disengage, you basically jump, and I think there will be a setting for auto sprint after you do the roll. So you basically, you're getting stuck with mobs, you disengage, roll, and now you sprint and move the fuck out of you know, mobs that you don't want to kill. And I was actually talking about how do I clear the the game with permafrost, right? So this is another skill you need early on, because you won't have supports for your explosive grenades until you clear your first quest. I really, you know, I really think where is the first mob? Clearfell. So Mud Burrow is really good because you get first support gem and you can plug in scattershot. So I really recommend clearing that. In the Grellwood area, oh sorry, in the Grim Tangle, you can also clear, there is a boss. So it also can give you a support gem. This is also nice. I really recommend you to do this, and then plug in Adhere. But the way how I clear mobs is basically I shoot behind me with permafrost bolts and cast my grenades in front of me, right? So maybe to grab the pack, right? So I move here. I shoot them in the back. They are very slow in the first map, so this gets better. As you can see, sometimes they miss, but you should be basically trying to maybe stop for a second. Yeah, you will see if they go beyond, right? So again, maybe cast further away, and so on and so on. So this way, I'm killing it. Oh, I think I know why. Because normally in the first act, you need to click like close to your character because you don't have the Adhere support. So again, how it will look like. So it bounces back. It bounces a little bit, right? It goes further. So with Adhere, you need to, you know, cast differently. But without Adhere, you just need to do it as close to you as possible. Otherwise, it can be too far. But you will, you know, you will see how it goes. But you know, anyway, shoot and cast grenades, and that will be all that you need to clear the map, and you will go smoothly through Act 1. You don't need fragmentation rounds. Basically, this is enough, and I found this as fast as using permafrost bolts and fragmentation rounds. And I think getting our supports for explosive grenades already in Act 1 make it easier in Act 2 and 3. So I think this is a really good idea to go from the beginning. So important things that I tried is difference between volatile catalyst and ricochet. So we don't care about the projectiles have chance to chain. I think this is just an addition for your bolts. You might use it, but I wouldn't count on it too much. It doesn't matter. However, the 15%. Okay, so maybe let's do this so that we can unplug it. So this node gives you 6% of damage. Oh, yeah, I think I fucked it up. Yeah. So we need to do this. Yeah, so this node gives you, okay, 3.6% of damage when we have this checked in, which is not the case. So yeah, we should actually be simulating this as it goes. Yeah, it's 6% when you are on level, I don't know, 7. This is a lot. Again, 6%. It will be less with every node, of course, because you have more damage already. This gives you 9%, 4%. Then yeah, you go here, and this gives you again 6.5, and everyone a little bit less, with the big one on level 15. But I wouldn't count for it because my experience is that I clear Act 1 bosses on level 14. But if you struggle for some reason, I don't know, you were unlucky, you are not experienced with Act 1 campaign, and you don't know how to get items out of the shop to you know, to increase your character power, which you should be doing, then maybe you will be level 15, and then the final boss will be very, very easy. So why not this node if we're going to play grenades? Again, projectile damage increases your let's say grenade power, and this makes you spam grenades. Why is it bad? Because it uses more mana, and when you are playing POE 2, your you know, and you don't get the mana flask that regains charges every 0.2 seconds, or your flask or life flask that gains charges 0.2 seconds, then you're gonna have hard time. I hope that mana usage is nerfed on all crossbow skills, especially explosive grenade. But if it's not, then maximizing projectile damage, maximizing, you know, like single cast damage is way better idea than spamming grenades, simply because of mana. Then we will have a lot of new nodes, but I have, and that's basically Act 1. So I will share pops in POBs in description, but explosive grenade, scattershot, and Adhere. Maybe I haven't explained Adhere too much, but you see, Adhere makes grenades stick in one place because they have very little AoE. Without it, it's very hard to, let's say, use all projectiles. As you can see, they are quite far away. It's boss would need to be perfectly in this spot to get hit with all those free grenades, and they still bounce. So it's overall quite hard to aim. You don't have explosive shot, and the further you are, the less chances this works. And with Adhere, it's getting better. It's well, it's more reliable to detonate. Sorry, to detonate a single spot. So that's my idea. I playtested this with different builds, and because it literally just, you know, explodes in the same place, it's much better clear wise, because you just go, you drop your grenades like this, and if they explode, they're gonna kill. Without Adhere, I found out that most of my grenades, you know, just they explode and I miss, or okay, this map is like too low because I'm level 9 already, but the experience is that I, you know, leave like 10% HP on monsters, and that makes you cast again and lose time. So you just wanna cast once, okay, make it stick in the place and explode. So we will see. Overall, this is the build I used, and I completed the campaign in 1 hour 15 minutes with help of disengage to move faster. That was my time. I will be aiming to do it in the same time or faster, because we have less movement penalty. Then we have Tactician Act 2, so we go for those nodes. I don't go for cooldown recovery because, like I said, we are not interested in firing more grenades because it consumes more mana. We are happy to wait for cooldown. So instead, I'd rather use those points to get my damage nodes, and this is basically how the tree looks like on you know, by the end of Act 2. We are also not interested in the detonation time. We don't care, because in Act 2 we unlock the explosive shot, which detonates our grenades, and it makes this node's downside yeah, you know, better, because then you simply cast grenades and use explosive shot. I don't have explosive shot here, but you know, you can imagine. So that's gonna make it way better. And what else? I have flash grenade and gas grenade with corrosion. This is great for armor break, and you can have some armor break stuff in the build as well, which is like, you know, exploding enemies when you break the armor and stuff. So I really recommend it. Then we move quickly to Act 3. We add oil grenade. Without any support, it's not really needed. It's good. We use primer armament as you unlock tier 2 support gems. It's really good. And basically you continue. And I expect this same stuff moving on through the rest of the campaign, unlocking more tree nodes, but by the end of Act 3, it's worth getting maybe this node as well. So it's worth to increase your AoE, it's worth getting the fire penetration. Now I'm not sure what it will be, but maybe elemental penetration. It's worth getting the extra movement speed, and it's worth getting those defense nodes, because in Act 3 you need some defenses, right? So with Wind Dancer and those nodes, I think it's enough to carry on and focus on the damage, and that should be your tree. Okay, I think this been a little bit more chaotic than I expected, but I think that you can still get some value. I will include POE links in the description, and I will be posting my progress on the mercenary, or basically tactician build that I'm gonna craft. I'm not sure what it will be. I'm not sure how many people will cover tactician. It might be very popular, but I hope that maybe you can suggest something that I can try. Maybe you have some successes that you want to share. So stay tuned, and yeah, hope to talk to you too soon. Cheers.